write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know. I don't know.
That was the great sounds of Watson with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ Blues is in the building. Easy Blues, you are better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, there is an amazing proverb out there where energy is held in your hair. Whether you sit there and you go about Samson and Delilah or any of these aspects, you truly see hair, the importance of hair and how it can be very integral as we grow as a society. Now, when you have hair that is more acceptable on a mainstream level, that can actually make your life go a little bit easier and you become a false standard of beauty. But when you are truly yourself and allowed to live 100% free and 100% taken care of and see that representation of who you are and can be, that is one of the purest forms of beauty in society. And our next guest lives by that and has now created an entire brand around supporting what other people wanted to tell you was not the proper standard. And that is true hero right there. So put your hands together for the absolutely amazing Luvina Leslie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. When I side note, when I heard Prestige introduce you, I'm like, I need an introduction like that. It's like that's an introduction. But thank you. I appreciate your introduction. So thoughtful.
Absolutely, we try. It usually comes organically with easy. I mean, he thinks he has an optimistic mindset about everybody, positive thoughts.
Yes,
he tries to. But just beginning, what does entrepreneurship mean to you?
Entrepreneurship is, I guess, in the simplest form, is just being a business owner.
Blunt. I love it. I definitely love it.
Working for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. No one nagging you and telling you what to do. Being creative and expressive for who you are. I think we're all with these points. But what made you want to do hair? Why hair? Why make that a passion? Why make that into your life? Because it feels like just what I've seen through Instagram and all your promotion, just through the CT Curly Hair Salon, that it's not a job to you and your team. It's a lifestyle. Please tell me about that.
Right. So I grew up doing hair. I probably did. My parents aren't alive to tell me the story, but I'm going to make up my own story and probably that I did all of my doll's hair. But I do know for sure that I did my sister's hair. I have two younger sisters, and my mom was a white woman. My dad was a black man, and my mom was a Jewish woman with long hair that grew down to her waist. It grew as long as she wanted it to grow. And then my dad was a black man with like an afro. Literally every morning he would pick his afro. And so getting our hair done by my mom meant we looked a frizzy mess because she was not going to put hair grease in our hair. And getting it done by our dad meant like getting combed with the afro comb with like just no mercy. And out of necessity, I imagine, I learned to do my hair and do my sister's hair. But that's not how I started my career. I also did work for a hair salon in my late teens. And I remember the lady saying like, oh, like we make really good money here. But I didn't believe her because I thought like, you can't possibly love what you do and have fun. So I went into jobs where I made money because that's what I thought was the important thing in life. My thought was, I just want to make money. I don't care what I do for a living. Everybody's miserable at what they do for a living. Like we just need to see how we can make the most money. So that's what I did. I made a lot of money. I always had good paying jobs. I was good at what I did. And God just always allowed me to work really good jobs and make really good money. It wasn't until I was about 25, after working 26 jobs and trying to find my way in life.
By 25 years old, you worked 26 jobs.
26 jobs.
That's crazy.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
But I think that even though in my mind I thought I needed to go work and make money, like this is my goal in life, is to make the most money as possible. Me working 26 jobs showed that I didn't really believe that, because if I really believed that, I would have stuck with like the one that paid me well. But I've never been the kind of person, it didn't matter how much money I make. I'm like, you guys are going to tell me I can't take the day off. Nah, it's not going to work for me. Oh, you're going to tell me I can't have like purple hair, even though I don't want purple hair. That's not going to work for me. But after, when I was about 25 years old, I prayed, I asked God, God, please show me what you put me on this earth to do. And through different signs and conversations and just mystical happenings, I realized that hair was the direction I was supposed to be going in. And so that's why I went into hair.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I trust all the mystical happenings. I do. Like, oh my gosh, that leaf is moving to the right. I'm supposed to take a right. Like, that's just how I am. It's really strange, but it works for me.
Now, like you said, 25 years old, you decided to take control of your life. I know you started off in New York City. Am I correct? Just with your whole training and just like learning the real profession, how to be a hairstylist. Am I right?
So I started my training at Aveda Institute in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right. Gotcha.
And I moved back to Connecticut after my year and a half there. Then I worked in New Haven, and I got my first formal curly hair cutting training in New York City.
Okay.
And brought it and then used it here where I worked at a salon. Gotcha.
How competitive was New York?
I didn't stay there. I think even then though, even now, 14 years later, I mean, what's competition really? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what's competition? There's enough for all of us.
That is true. Easy. I see the light above your head. What do you think about that?
Well, no, it's, you covered a bunch of like amazing topics there, and I love how you kind of resounded on what is competition, because you seem to be the person that is in competition with yourself. Right. You are continuing to push, you're continuing to grow, you're continuing to evolve, whether that be from a business aspect or a work hustle aspect, through the artistry of cutting hair, and then to focus on a particular hairstyle, that it does, again, against the made up look of what societal norm beauty is supposed to be. You've had people that take these chances and are destroying their hair to fit something that's not them, and you're jumping into an industry and making sure there's a safe place for them to be as beautiful as a soul as possible. And you can see that be ingrained in you as a human. At 25 with the 26 jobs, when it didn't feel the most you left. And at 25, you found the you wanted to invest in. I appreciate that. And I really wanted to call that out, but also to highlight, as you're continuing to move forward and continuing to grow, this isn't your final Pokemon evolution. Yeah. Where is the next, when are you going to be like Pikachu, like times 37?
Right. So great question. So, and this also goes back to your question at the beginning about entrepreneurship. I'm currently in the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program in New York. And we're learning about exit strategy and like what it is that we really want for our life. So one of the things that I've realized as an entrepreneur, and I think it's something that most 5-year, 7-year, 10-year entrepreneurs can relate to, is that we spend so much time doing all the things that we started doing in the beginning. So this month will be the last month that I'm doing hair. So I will not be doing hair anymore after this month, because I've realized in my really happy entrepreneurial spirit that I have to run this business, and I can't run this business doing hair. But I've realized that my job is to keep my stylist chairs filled. Yeah. So that means I'm networking. That means I'm brainstorming. I'm figuring out how to get more business, how to get more exposure to the salon. And that's my gift. Besides being able to lead people, leading people is also one of my gifts. But one of my gifts is networking. and relating to people and building relationships. And that's essentially how businesses are built. And because that is what I'm good at, that is what I have decided that I'm going to start focusing on, is building those relationships so that the people that I provide job opportunities for are able to make as much money as they want to make. So yeah, so that's like the short term right now. But there's always something that I'm working on. In this program, I'm actually working on creating online courses for businesses, actually. At first, the thought was business to consumer, but now that I'm in this cohort with like 30 something other business people, it's such a challenge to think bigger than business to consumer. And as a business person, when you think B2B, business to business, you can impact so many more people because you're working with the leader, and then they can disperse your information or your knowledge to their teams. And so I can impact much greater if I'm working business to business. So that's just what's exciting next on my list. But I'm forever evolving. And if we talk in 10 years, we'll be like, what are you doing now with your life, Lavina? And only God knows what I'll be doing at that point.
You're just going to let God take his course.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Everything that I can fit in this lifetime, I'm going to fit it in.
I love it. I love it. Tell me how your daughter was your inspiration of doing what you do.
Which? My older daughter?
Yeah, older daughters. Yeah, I just thought you had one kid. I'm sorry.
Oh, yes. So, no, I have 3 actually.
No. It's good to be corrected. It's good to be corrected. Go right ahead. I'm not going to overstep you.
Because they're all my inspiration. But, you know, my this is like kind of a funny story, and it's a little petty, to be completely honest with you. But there were 2 things actually that kind of pushed me onto my entrepreneurial journey. The first one I worked at, I remember asking for a Saturday off because her birthday fell on a Saturday, and they said no. And I was like,
wow, that's
very
selfish.
well with me. Right? It didn't sit very well with me, but I mean, as an adult now, who, you know, my kid's 20, I'm like, Lavina, you could have had a party on the Sunday. It didn't have to be on that Saturday.
Right.
And then the second salon that I worked at, which I really loved working for, it was a really great work environment. I had asked one day for her to come in the salon it was a voting day, but it wasn't a major election, and I was the only stylist on. And they told me no, she could not come into the salon with me. And she's a quiet, mild-mannered child. And that was part of the thing that I thought, like, wow, I can't be with her on this day. I have to find somebody to be with her. And once I opened my salon, she would get off the bus. She would come to the salon. She would be with me till we closed, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, it didn't matter. But knowing that I could be with her as a single mother motivated me to open the salon, because I knew that I would be able to keep her with me whenever I wanted to. It's really hard to trust people with my babies.
Yeah, but I don't know. It has to be like a rule or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it has to be a rule.
You agree, Easy?
Yeah, no, it's very, very true, and I love, and thank you for sharing that part of your story. And you know, we tell people, share as much or as little as you want. This is definitely the safe place to do that. But there's a whole nother side that does open up. You know, how hard is it to really invest in yourself and be an entrepreneur when you're also a single parent? Because it's not just, you know, I can live on ramen noodles.
For sure.
You know, if I happen to grind myself out and, you know, the high sodium takes me out, I die doing what I love to do.
Right.
But when there's that other person and that someone that is living in just pure vulnerability for a good portion of their life and a lot of the time with you, how were you able to manage both?
Right. It is challenging. I have a wonderful sister who helped me start my business when I first started it. And she would help me a lot with my daughter, because the truth of the matter is, and I'm just going to keep it real, like, I don't want to bring my kids to work. That's just the truth. I did it out of necessity, you know, like,
right.
I love my kids. I love when I'm home with them, but when I'm at work, I don't want to be with them. And that is the truth. But I also don't want to not be able to be with them if circumstances don't allow for them to be somewhere else. So it does. It's a little scarier when you have someone else to take care of, because just like you said, I could live off of ramen. But the thing is because I'm the kind of person who I'm humble, and I am not afraid of hard work, and I will do what it takes to take care of my children. So if that means I have to have 2 jobs and I have to work at Burger King to supplement my job, or if I have to, it doesn't matter what it is that I have to do. I know ultimately I have children to take care of. And so I'll do what I have to do for my business. But if I need a supplement, then I'm going to supplement. But having a community is really important. And probably the number one reason, besides my age, that I don't want any more children is because it's really difficult to raise kids alone. It really takes a village to raise a child. And I often, and many times in my life, even now, even as of yesterday, even as of this weekend, I find myself divided, my heart divided as to how I'm supposed to spend my time. I had homework due for the program that I'm in, and I was at Great Wolf Lodge for the Down syndrome weekend. My youngest daughter has Down syndrome. So I was at the Down syndrome weekend at the Great Wolf Lodge, playing at the water park for Saturday and Sunday, not getting my work done, extending our stay for hours longer, even though I'm like, I got to get home. I got to close my pool. Like, I've got a lot to do, but they are important. And it's often a struggle as to like, what, do I have to send this email out in the middle of reading this book? Or like, can I finish reading this book and then get to my email? So, it's a constant pull, and you just have to remember, like I've been taught, you have to be where you are. And so whatever's in front of my face, I try my best to focus on that. And when it's my children, especially, so that they don't grow up thinking like, wow, my mom cared more about her business than she cared about us.
No, that, again, thank you for that amazing share. And, there's a phenomenal boxing philosophy of fight where you stand. You don't want to think too far out. You don't want to, where your feet are planted or where your feet are currently hovering, that's where you have to fight it from. And when you start to take a look at that, when you start to, handle some of the stuff we used to do in basic training because the day was horrible, I just need to make it to breakfast. I just need to make it to lunch. I just need to make it to dinner. I just need to make it to bedtime.
Right.
And when you start to break down your day in that type of aspect, today I know that I have to make $150 to keep all this, squared away and move through. I have to, from this point to this point, I need to make sure that I am maximizing that time. And hey, if I have a really good day, I've made that 150 by lunch.
Right.
The rest of this is bonus. I now have the ability to say, I'm done for the day because I've hit my goal, and now I'm going to go and, invest that time into my children, into having that moment. And, as they get older, their interests start to peak and go into different directions. For a while, my oldest, we would sit and we would watch a movie or something together. So we have those bonding times. They're 15 now. Right. They have friends. They don't necessarily want to hang out with me as much. Right. And I'm okay with that. I know that now I've gone from a main character in, this child's story to a supporting cast member. And, you have to understand, and that's where things will evolve or devolve to, community, you said it before, is so super important. And you've kind of hinted through it to the entire aspect. You understand now that the next evolution of you business-wise is to stop cutting hair and build the community. You said network. Network is a building of that community and helping to grow forward. I know in passing conversations that we have had, you've talked about, you expanded initially, then COVID happened and you had to, go smaller, but now you're also thinking about going to a whole nother state. What is that evolution like to take that next step? Because now you then would have to fill the chairs of the people that are going down there,
right?
But you also have to fill those chairs of the place that is looking to be established. How are you looking at those different opportunities, and how are you maximizing, that time schedule for yourself?
Actually, as I maximize this time on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, the Long Island raised, Elm City made EZ Blues is in the building. We got the great Lavina Leslie with us on Behind the Brand. Lavina, I hope I didn't stop your train of thought. Go right ahead.
Okay. Let me get back there. Okay, so back to, I got it. So yeah, our plan is to expand into Florida. And that wasn't, like I said in the beginning, I'm very mindful of the things that come to me. And I don't believe that many things are accidents. I don't believe that people who come into our lives are accidents. There's so many things that I just don't believe are by mistake. And so I had one stylist who has been asking for me to move her to Florida for the past few years. I've kind of ignored her. And then I'm like, she's kind of kidding. And then I had another stylist who recently said to me that in a few years she is moving to Florida, and she wanted to know if I would consider opening up a second location. So I was like, actually, you know, that's a really great idea. And so yeah, that's what happened. So we have 3 years, and because we have 3 years, it's a long time to plan. And because we have a long time to plan, I have we'll be able to like map it out. And remember how I said I'm not going to cut hair anymore? Well, I probably will do like some pop-ups there just to kind of like build the anticipation, but that's what we're going to do over the next 3 years. Right. Is build anticipation and slowly build it the same way that we slowly built this, because this wasn't built overnight. About, let me see, maybe it's been about 5 years that I've been building this team now, but it started with one member and then adding another member and then a third member.
It all takes time.
Yes, it does.
Now, there was a plan for 5 salons in Connecticut at one point.
There was a plan, but that plan is no longer. So like you said, I did have a second location. I closed that down March. The pandemic started 2020. I closed that down March 2020. It had nothing to do with the pandemic, and just everything to do with the fact that I just couldn't handle two business locations at that time. So yeah, after doing that, I realized, like, unless I have the right team, unless I have the right support system, I don't want to open another location, because it is one thing to dream, and I don't count anything as a loss. I count it all as experience.
Of course.
And not to say, like I said, I will open up a second location in Florida and possibly another one here in Connecticut. It just depends. It just depends on how everything goes. But again, what I do know for sure is that I need the right support team. I need the right people in place in order to do that. I cannot do it by myself. And that's another thing with entrepreneurship. You really have to have the right teams in place.
You just got to take accountability that the right people with you can make you go ahead and beyond what you can imagine. Yeah, because that's the most important part of it. As we go on in the interview, what does it take? I mean, actually, let me just slow it down, because I'm slurring my words. I'm got 10 million thoughts inside my head. But how big is personality within your workplace? Because I've just seen through the videos and stuff that I've seen through the Instagram with your salon, and just from different reactions from customers and the great reviews about your salon, that you guys have a great atmosphere, a great environment. How big is personality when it comes to CT Curly Hair Salon?
Well, I think personality is everything when it comes to choosing a hairstylist. I mean, I don't know if it's the same for you guys as like when you pick a barber, but I think, you know, it's like, how can we connect? And the older I get, the more I realize just how important, how much people want to connect to other people, which is why podcasts do so well, which is why, you know, anything when it comes to like, which is why like, reality TV, which is why anything where like somebody is letting you into their world does so well, because people want to like find a connection. And that is the same thing when it comes to having a hairstylist. This is somebody that hopefully you'll like the results, but this is somebody you're letting touch you. They're touching you. You know, people don't want anyone to touch them nowadays. So like you're so close that like you're touching their hair, you're touching their skin. So you've kind of got to build that relationship with them. But I think just making somebody feel comfortable, finding something to connect with them on, which is why like we have descriptions of the different stylists on the website, because it's like, what, you know, like her hair is like mine, or like maybe she has a cat, or you know, maybe she's into crystals, like something that connects us. And personality, and that's the same thing even like when it comes to my business. I found that when I when I post myself, or when I post something about my life, or when I post a picture of myself, it just gets so much more attention than just like a random haircut. And I always think I'm not really that interesting. I'm like the rest of you guys. Like, I eat, I sleep, I dance, I, have a drink, I take care of my kids.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like you, you're just like me.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just something about the connection that I think is what really makes people want to come to the salon. We're warm, we're welcoming, we're friendly, we're accepting just who people are, how they come, what they look like. And with people with curly hair, a lot of us, especially if your hair is bigger and you have thicker hair, a lot of us have gone to salons and people will say like, well, like, what do you want to get done? Oh, you have a lot of hair, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I guess this is not okay. Mm-hmm. And so when they come into the salon, we're like, oh, your hair is so big and beautiful. They're like, it is. And so it's really nice to go somewhere where you're accepted as you are.
Right.
And we're only going to help you enhance what you've already got going on.
And it opens those avenues for customers coming back and brand new customers seeing you guys for the very first time. But like I always say, you as you pick up signals, I'm picking up signals from my co-host right now. His finger is up, and every time his finger is up, he always has something to say. So Easy Blues, go right ahead.
It's really, it's kind of like that extra therapy aspect of it. You have it, that connection with your therapist, with your doctor, with your bartender, with your tattoo artist, and also, with your hairstylist, or barber. But with the barber and the hairstylist, you're sitting in this person's insecurities, and it's one of the things we really do invest in the show, in that gas up introduction to make the guest feel at home and to feel welcome, because this does get personal, because you are showing a piece of your soul, and I want you to feel comfortable, and I want you to know that every part of your soul is accepted before you say one word on the show. And it is that similar type of vibe. How do you guys walk through, and again, pointed out there, there was a whole documentary on it, Good Hair and all that. When people are told for so long that being different is bad, how are you guys, really focusing on nurturing that this is absolutely, your hair is stunning.
Thanks.
The sun in highlights that you've got going on there, and the real tight curl, like there's so much amazing intricate, it's so intricate and so flawless. And how are you giving that vibe to that woman or that little girl that is insecure because she doesn't see this amazingness on that magazine or in that TikTok thing going through? How are you doing that? How are you building that?
Well, the first thing is in case you didn't know this about the salon, we only take curly hair clients. Mm-hmm. So we don't take anybody with straight hair. We don't do any straightening at the salon. We don't use a curling iron. We don't braid. We don't weave. We don't do anything that changes the hair, the curls. So I think that's the first step. And that's especially important when it comes to a younger person who's feeling maybe a little insecure. We get a lot of biracial children. And oftentimes, some of these children can come from environments where people don't look like them. They live in like the suburbs, and they go to a school that's predominantly white, and they walk into a place and it's like, oh my goodness, like I found my tribe. Like, these people have hair like me, and they're happy and they're confident and they're wearing their hair, and they don't seem unhappy about it. And I think that's the first thing that we offer, is a space where everybody has curly hair. So whether it's a little looser than yours or curlier, or curlier than yours, it's still like we all are part of this, like, oh, you have curls, I see you, like I see you. And when we have little girls, it's just my team is just really amazing. When little girls come in, everybody dotes on them. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, I love your hair, I love your dress, I love your shoes. And so they feel really special there. And it's not even fake, it's just, we just love it when little girls come there and their mom or their dad or their caregiver is really encouraging them to embrace their curls. We just love that, because that just means, you know, that's one less person that we have to like bring them over to the light side, away from the dark, you know, one more person growing up confident that this is the hair that they have, whether their mom has hair like them or they don't have hair like them. But it's just one less person that we have to work with that has to, you know, learn to embrace their curls because they've already been doing it from a very young age.
That's very important. You're making them stronger than they were yesterday. Just giving that little bit of appreciation when they walk through the door. That's very awesome. Tell me about some of the events that CT Curly Hair Salon has been a part of throughout this tenure you guys been around.
Right. So we are typically hosting, we've done some vendor events.
Okay.
Before COVID, we would do a lot of vendor events. We would go set up a table, sell our products, tell about the salon, and we hosted our own events. I actually, you know, think about the beginning stages when I first opened the Middletown location, I think it was about 5 years ago. Right. We had a grand opening and like 3 people showed up. And I was like, my heart was broken. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. I spent so much money on food. Right. Like, but after that, we probably had 4 or 5 more events before COVID happened. And they were really well attended and such a great turnout. And then the last 2 years, we've done Curl Friends in the Park, which is an event that we put on for just our curl friends to come. We have vendors, we have a great DJ, we have food trucks, it's outside, it's a vibe. And it's just like a curly girl picnic. And that's what we do. I'm actually going to be a guest speaker, and I'm often, you know, invited to events where I can, you know, be a guest speaker or a host or just something whenever it's like curly hair and it's around here, you know, I will get invitations to be part of those events. And I always try to take advantage of those opportunities. I have one coming up, but yeah,
how does it feel?
We'll be doing, I love it so much. I love it so much. Like I told you guys, I am here for the networking. I love to talk to people and share with people and get to know people. It is, it's just one of my biggest blessings in life, is to be able to connect with people. And I love it, which is why as hairstylists, like, we are essential, believe it or not, even though they didn't put us the essential people, we are totally essential. And I felt during the pandemic, it was so important for me, and it was so important for these people who were able to come get their hair done with their masks on, that we were able to like touch and be touched and talk to and be talked to, because that's really humanity. As far as, even though we're getting so far away from it in this the virtual world that we live in online, which I'm not a fan of, human connection is so important, and I'll never get away from that. It's hard.
Can't be replaced.
It cannot be replaced.
Absolutely can't be replaced at all.
My 9-year-old now, who wants to just like, he wants a PlayStation so bad, because, you know, this is the world that we live in. It's just like, we are trying to, and granted, I mean, video games have been around since forever, so it's not new, but it's the amount of time that we now spend out of reality. And so I try my best to keep, you know, human connection available for people, because robots aren't going to take our job, you know, and people need, like I said, people need it. People, you don't know, or I don't know whether the next woman that's coming into the salon has had nobody hug her, nobody touch her, nobody wash her hair, nobody like rub her shoulders, you know? And so, I forgot the question, but human connection. No. It's so important. It's so important.
I mean, we're alike right now, because I forgot the question too, but I'm just learning so much from you, just rebuttal back and forth. Easy, the co-host that we have right now, he has a little guideline for his kids, just with video games and just like time restrictions. So like you have to read a book. Absolutely. You have to go outside. You have to have that interaction with kids, because it's going to help you out when you become an older adult, because we're seeing more and more people right now just doesn't have that human interaction. Even just dating, you got to get an app and download it, and just not have that confidence. It just kills it, you know, because like everything is just killing you inside, just with that self-esteem, and it's just boiling down. So I can relate. I definitely can relate, because back when we were kids, you know, we had to go outside to introduce our friend. Now everything's just with a tablet. Now everybody has a tablet. We got 9-year-olds with cell phones, and I couldn't have a cell phone until I was like 14. So I totally get your point of view with human connection. That's important when it comes to your business too. just getting, like you said before, or earlier in this broadcast, getting to know more clients, expanding your brand. Nothing can beat the human face. That's the best business card available, in my opinion. But let me know a little bit more about your clients. Where is the farthest a client has ever come to visit your salon?
So about 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a girl who came from her second time from Maine. That's was a crazy. 5-hour drive, but the farthest anyone has ever come is from Maryland. And yes, she and her husband and children drove up the night before, stayed at a hotel, and then had me do her hair in the morning. And I thought, like, wow, this is I'm doing the Lord's work. That's just how I felt. Like, listen, this is something serious. If somebody is willing to travel all this time to come and get their hair done by me.
It's a great feeling. And that probably gave you confidence to have those salons in Florida, to even explore different states. If you're getting clients from Maryland and all these other, places just around Connecticut, just coming to see you, that tells you that you're doing something outside of that box. Isn't that great?
It is great. It is so, so great. I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And believe it or not, even though I've been in the business for 14 years, we're just I tell people we're just getting started. And when you talk to me in 10 years, I'm going to be like, Prestige, we are just getting started. We are just getting started.
How fast did the 14 years go by?
Oh my gosh. So fast. So fast. I won't even tell my age, but I will tell you that none of my friends had cell phones in high school. None of them. That I remember. And if they did, they were like, I don't think any of them did. None of my friends had them.
All right. So how about this? We'll just say you're 27 forever.
27 forever.
27 forever. Appreciate it. As we air this show on your birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Easy Blues. I see the light bulb on the top of your head. What you have to say?
It's an incredible journey to go on and to move forward. And like, there's more to just what you're doing from a branding point of view than, hair or, you're growing into the different markets and stuff like that. You've spoken before about kind of like giving out inspirational quotes type of thing. And, you made sure you had them written down and different evolutions there. You're also talking about how your journey is now going from business to client to business to business and that type of evolution. It seems, I'm going to take a shot in the dark here, but it seems it's going to be into that motivational speaking type of aspect. Is that somewhere you're looking to go full time with? Because I kind of see, one, you have the story to back it up, but you also have the personality to drive that forward and to help inspire people moving forward. So when's your TED Talk? And you can get tickets now. That's pretty much what I'm asking.
So listen, it's so funny. Like, I feel like maybe we're kindred spirits, or like you just know business, or you just know like that's the next step of my life. But for sure, that is definitely in my life. Like you said, I created my affirmation cards because on my instructions, I share that everything starts with our thoughts, right? But I can't help your thoughts, but I can help your words, which is why I created the affirmation cards. And, but I definitely want to get into public speaking, life coaching. That is definitely in my plan. I think part of the struggle is because I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing hair for the 14 years, moving into that sector of motivation. And like you said, I mean, I do have the story to back it. But it's just like, people know me as a curly hair expert, right? So it's like, okay, Lavina's a curly hair. Oh, so now Lavina's a life coach. You know what I mean? It's like that whole like transition over and gaining the public's trust. Although I do believe not only do I have the business, but I also have the life experience. Like anything that I will teach or share, or things that I've done, I'm not an imposter. I'm not a fake. Like, I am who I say I am, and anything that I teach you to do or tell you to do, it's because I've done it already and I know that it works. And like, there are methods to living the life that you want. And essentially, like, shameless future plug, I do want to help people live the lives that they're meant to live, because going into this this part of my life, I realized, you know, they say it's like life is like a roll of toilet paper. When you start to get to the end, it just like starts going really, really fast. But you realize at some age that at some point in your life, you're like, I can't play around anymore. I can't, this is like my real life. And I only get to do this one time. And I want to make sure that I'm doing it, that I'm living the career I want to live, that I'm in the relationship that I want to be in, that, you know, I'm in the health that I want to be in, because I don't have time to play anymore. So yeah, that is definitely in the future. And I will invite you to my TED Talk because it's going to happen.
I hope that TED Talk is also on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City Made, EZ Blues is in the building. We got the great Lavina Leslie, if I can barely speak, on Behind the Brand with us today on the show on her birthday.
Happy birthday.
How great of a platform is your salon? Because you talked about earlier on this show about one of your workers that you with wanting to go to Florida within, you know, in the foreseeable future. But how great is the platform? How great have you seen people under you just grow? How good of a feeling that is?
Yeah, it is wonderful to, interestingly enough, this is, don't judge me again. When I opened my location on Middletown Avenue, I was like, taking on employees is a big deal, right? Having employees, having people that you're responsible for, that you've got to accommodate their lives and their families. It's a lot. And I said to the Lord, I said, God, can you help me run this business? Can you help me grow this business without employees? And strangely enough, as I started to get employees and I've been able to watch them grow over the past 4 years, it's been my favorite part of owning this business. So cutting hair used to be my favorite part. And now being able to lead a group of wonderful people who make good salaries and are able to provide for their family is probably what I have the most satisfaction about. Again, like I said, I love cutting hair, but knowing that my business provides these people's wages to like live a good life, go on vacation, you know, buy the cars that they want to buy, live in the apartments that they want to live in, and just, you know, not live paycheck to paycheck. You know, I joke with one of our stylists, like I joke all the time, because if I ask her for change, like she just has 20s everywhere. She has no fives, she has no singles. Like she's just 20s in her bag, 20s in her purse, 20s in her jacket. And that gives me a great sense of pride, knowing that this platform has allowed her to live a life that she is happy to live, that she comes to and enjoys. And I couldn't be more grateful and more proud.
So you're a leader. So you're a leader building future leaders.
Oh, for sure.
Nice. I love it. I definitely love it. Easy, fingers up. What's up, buddy?
Well, it wasn't, but I
it's a little lag in the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Oh, no, word. Lag in the
like
Wi-Fi.
I'm sorry.
No, it was just here. No, but that's kind of how I'm able to see where that evolution is going to be, because, you know, it's not just a matter of gassing up, you know, the employees or networking properly to make sure your team is built around you. You know, you guys naturally hype up the person that walks into the door. You guys naturally, you know, your entire brand and branding, because it's naturally who you are, is about elevation of an individual, whether it be the elevation of yourself, the elevation of the society around you, you know, the elevation of fighting against a really incorrect standard of beauty. You know, you have embraced it, you know, moving forward. And I think that is very, very rooted in seeing the person that is supposed to be, you know, that standard of beauty right next to you, not have the same type of hair and not be able to deal with that same type of hair that you have. And you then taught yourself out of the necessity to give that comfort to your sisters, you know, where you are really just, your entire life has been about, you know, gassing up the next individual. And it is a beautiful journey. And I hope you are rewarding yourself as much as possible for that, because you've been changing the world moment by moment for a very long time. And high five.
Thank you. And it's so it's funny that you say that. When in my early 20s, not too long ago, I used to sell Mary Kay, and I have a slight obsession with Mary Kay because if she were alive today, you would definitely want her on her show. She was the epitome of just an amazing, ethical businesswoman. But one of the things I learned from her is to treat everybody like they're important. And I think at the heart of every single business, especially service business, is kindness. And that's what I look for when I am hiring people or to bring people on the team, is just how they treat other people. Because there are so many technical things, like even what you guys do, like even what you do, like you can bring me in and you can teach me what you do. I can learn what you do because I'm teachable. But there's some things that you can't teach people, like kindness and, being people of integrity. So that is what I look for when I'm hiring somebody, so that I know that if somebody comes in the salon and they don't look like everybody else, or maybe they're not dressed like everybody else, or like maybe they have an identity, they identify differently. I know that the people that are on my team will never treat them differently, will never look at them differently, will never like judge them or make them feel uncomfortable, because that's just who they are. That's, we know that it is our job to treat everybody kindly and as if they're important. And that is why our business continues to grow, because that is how we treat people.
How has your journey inspired future female entrepreneurs?
I mean, I'm not sure. The one thing I can tell you is that the one area that I've had so many women entrepreneurs reach out to me at is the area of human resources. I'm able to keep my employees for the most part. I mean, yeah, there have been some who are not with me any longer, but
happens.
How is it that you keep these girls? Like, what is it that you do? And the same way that I expect them to treat our clients with kindness is the same way that I treat the people who are working on my team. It is always, if they're spiritual, for me, it's God first, family second, career third. And for them, if they're spiritual and they put God first, but I don't ever expect them to put their family above their work. I do expect that they're going to work and be great while they're there, but their children always come first. Their parents come first. And for those without children, their pets are important to them. And I am always going to allow them to put the things that are important, the things that are close to their heart. I encourage them to keep it close to them and keep it the first thing, the most important thing in their lives. I don't expect the curly hair salon to be like their number one priority, which is, I found that a lot of businesses don't necessarily, whether they believe it or not, they don't treat them that way. It's like, oh, your kid is sick? Well, figure that out and get your butt to work. That's just not how we operate at the curly hair salon.
Unfortunately, as we come to a close on to the show for Behind the Brand, we learned so much from you, Lavina. Just a little bit of words of inspiration before we go out, and just please plug anything you got coming up in the foreseeable future, and also your social media. Please plug that for our listeners. Go right ahead.
Okay, perfect. So words of advice, I would say, because this is Behind the Brand, and I imagine you're reaching business people. As when I spoke to you guys in the past, I mentioned that the only way you fail is if you quit. And so my words of advice are to never quit. Like never quit. And so never quitting means sometimes downgrading your dream to the most basic level you can bring it to. So for example, if you're a hairstylist and you can't afford a salon, well, you do it in your kitchen until you can build enough to go to a suite, and then big enough to you can go on to the next level. But never quit. Never quit in anything. Actually, that's my words of advice. Never quit. Never quit unless it's over and you know it's over. But don't quit because of resources. Don't quit because of time. Hold on to your dreams, whatever those dreams may be. I don't have any events coming up right now, but please follow me on social. Please follow the salon on social media. You can follow me too. I'm Lavina Leslie on all the platforms. I'm getting ready to start a LinkedIn like a real professional. But at CT Curly Hair Salon on Instagram, Facebook / CT Curly Hair Salon. Our website is thecurlyhairsalon.com. Those are the way to reach us.
Lavina, thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ Blues is in the building. This has been Behind the Brand on WNHH LP 103.5.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.